Guys, I'm burned out. As a pastor, I'm burned out. I'm burned out. I am so done with COVID-19. I'm tired. And it's really weird because I don't know why I'm tired. I don't know why I'm burned out because I can't do most of the things that I usually do. Can't go visit people, at least not in the way we usually visit people. We're not having prayer meeting here every week. We're not having board meeting here every month. We're not planning these worships with a bunch of volunteers and all of these things, right? We're not doing any of that. And so you kind of just, you go into this thinking, am I going to have more time to spend with my family, more time to just work on kind of some extracurricular creative things that's going on? And the answer is no. No, you don't. Like, you have less time. It's really rough. It's really rough. When this began, I thought, I'm going to be the strong one. Right? I'm going to be the rock for other people who are going through this. I thought, this is a Christian thing. Like, we can do this. We're not afraid of this. We can be steady through this crisis. We can be voices of reason. We can be people who help others keep perspective as they go through this. And then I see a bunch of Christians sharing conspiracy theories on Facebook, like a ton of them. And I'm like, nope, that's not us. And then I start burning out, and I realize I'm not that either. I'm not that rock. I'm not that person who's going to reach over the cliff and be like, grab my hand, I'll pull you up. Like, I'm not that guy. And I wanted to be that guy. And so, my sense of disappointment with myself is profound. I'm disappointed in myself. It's like, why couldn't I have been stronger than I am? And again, I thought this is our time to shine. And when COVID first started hitting and we had to close church, I was like, we got this. We've got all of this gear here. We're just gonna charge through this thing, and we're gonna rock this. We're gonna provide a wonderful worship service for people to experience. We're gonna be online and be there for people. And we had a good run starting out, and then I just burned out. I just can't keep this up. And and then again, of course, the Christians started sharing conspiracy junk on Facebook, and you're like, this is us? This is who we are? This is what was revealed in this COVID apocalypse? I see so many Christians having conversations online and elsewhere, and as I listen to them, I'm just like, nobody else cares, right? Nobody who's not in this bubble cares about a lot of the things that we spend our time talking about. They don't care. Why are we still arguing? I say arguing. Wait, why are we still discussing Bible translations? One is better than all the others, and all the other ones stink. Nobody else outside the church cares about women's ordination as pastors. It's just not an issue to them. There's this growing disconnect between what we do as a church and kind of what the society around us understands. And if we're not doing it to build bridges to those people, to serve those people outside of the church, then what are we doing it for? And so to me, it's just this weight of dragging the corpse of Christendom into a post-Christian era just weighs me down. It just weighs me down. And there's this moment in the musical Hamilton where the colonies are pushing towards war with revolution against the King of England. And so obviously the nation is divided between loyalists and revolutionaries. So there's one loyalist to the crown who kind of stands up on his soapbox and gives a speech. He reads it. His name is Samuel Seabury in the play. And so he gives this speech, and he's like, whatever, don't follow the revolutionaries, stick with the king, this is your dad. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's essentially the basic part of his speech. And so he's just like, stay loyal to England. And so as he's doing this, Hamilton and some of the other revolutionaries are kind of gathering around, inching closer, and they're like, who is this dude? And so Hamilton starts to want to discuss with him, right? Like, why should a tiny island across the sea regulate the price of tea? Hamilton asks. But Seabury doesn't engage with Hamilton. Hamilton's looking for a discussion. He's looking for a constructive debate, right? And Seabury doesn't bite. In fact, what he does is he, after he's done reading his speech, he starts reading it again in a higher key. And so that's why Hamilton in the song says, don't modulate the key, then refuse a debate with me. Don't just kind of keep reading what your speech, man. Like, talk to me. And I feel like sometimes that's the church and our community. Like, we get up and we're like, I need to read this gospel presentation that we've given the same way for 150 years, and so let me read my script. Da, 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 da. Meanwhile, there's people out in the community like, okay, you believe that, but what about this? What about this? What about this? But we don't engage with them. Like, we're not answering the questions that people are asking, the things that they actually care about. We're just kind of repeating the script in a higher key, in a higher key, in a higher key, until it just starts sounding shrill. And it's like, I long for a profitable, constructive, engaging discussion about the things that matter to other people. Not what matters to me alone, what matters to other people. Like, too often we are answering questions nobody is asking. Nobody is asking. Like a public evangelistic series started not too long ago, and it started just predictably. Like, this is such an Adventist thing to do. It started predictably with the question is COVID-19 the end? And it's like, nobody thinks that. Like, nobody thinks COVID-19 is the end of the world. Like, nobody's asking this question. But this is the evangelistic hook that these people are using to try to get people interested in it. It's like, nobody's asking that question. Like, it sucks. COVID sucks. But nobody thinks it's the end of time. Like, the only people who would even phrase that question are other Christians. And it's just like, it's not an interesting conversation to even be having. Like, nobody thinks that way. Nobody thinks that way. Like, why are we even talking about it? If I could teach undergraduate theology students, this is my pitch. If you're a dean of a school of religion or something, and you're looking to hire somebody who doesn't have the appropriate degree, I'm your guy. I would take them to some public space, like a coffee shop or something. I would take my students and just say, guys, you're going to spend the next 45 minutes in absolute silence. Don't talk to anybody. This is not an exercise where you go to the coffee shop, go find somebody, share your faith. No, shut up. What you're going to do is find a quiet space at a table, at the counter, on a couch somewhere, and just listen. Just listen. You're just going to take notes. What are the people around you talking about? What's on their minds? Okay, so just take some brief notes. You don't have to write down people's names, okay? Let's not be creepy about this. And then we're going to come back to class, and we're going to compare our notes. And we're going to find out, a lady in a green shirt was talking about her cousin who just got diagnosed with cancer. And then somebody else is going to chime in, I had somebody whose grandfather was going to be going through knee surgery and he's really scared about it. Like, let's just start finding out, what's on people's hearts. Listen to the way they talk, the language they use. They don't care about any sort of unreconstructed fundamentalist debate about the King James Version, okay? They're not talking about that. You may notice they don't talk about church at all if they're not Christian. It doesn't even weigh in for many people. It's not even important for many people. So just learn how to listen. Because it reminds me of this part in the book Ender's Game, where Ender is this kid who they're trying to train to be a strategic genius. And I remember he's really good at it, right? He's really good at it. And he confesses at one point that in order to beat his enemy, he first has to study them. He has to learn what they love, what their passions are, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. And only once he's studied them can he just utterly defeat them. But he's discovering that as he studies his enemies, As he learns more about them, he can't help himself but love them. Because he says, you can never acquaint yourself with somebody's strengths and weaknesses, their dreams, their passions, their goals. You can't know somebody on that level and not love them at least just a little bit. And so I think if we're serious about loving our neighbors as Christians, that's going to have to mean getting to know the people around us. Getting to know their strengths, yes, their weaknesses, their passions, their wants, their life goals, their struggles, their successes. And I think when we actually get to know people, we will find out how to love them in the way that they will love. Because right now, I feel like we're in a place where the gulf is widening and we're on one shore, just kind of reading from our script, yelling to the other side. And when they don't listen or they don't care, we just find it really easy to write them off and dismiss them. Like, oh, well, they're just wicked people. Of course they wouldn't listen to the truth and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but like we were jerks about it, right? We weren't really speaking their cultural language. We weren't, you know what I mean? Like we didn't actually care about them. We just cared about reading our script. And I just think maybe it's time to just kind of not cry about losing the programming, not cry about all the offices and the kind of production of being a church, and just focus on listening to people. Listening to people with the goal of learning how to love them. And then when a door is open, to talk about what's important to us, talk about just the peace and the hope that we have in Jesus. It's not coming from a place of, I need to read this script to you. It's coming from a place of, I love you, and they will know that you love them. And it's going to be given to them in their own language, in the way that they understand. And so maybe, how about somebody starts a Twitch channel? Just play games, man. Like, be the next streamer. And if you come to my church and you want to start a Twitch channel and you want to play games and reach people that way and just talk about life and talk about God on your stream, go for it, man. Like, I would totally vote to fund that as a ministry. Like, let's just begin looking, where are people at in our communities, and let's just do things to reach them, and just be there for them and be in the spaces that they are inhabiting. And so, anyways, we just we launched Project Atlas not too long ago. And that's kind of been the goal of Project Atlas. It's like, can we just learn to talk to post-Christian people? Some of them are hostile to church and to God. Some of them just don't care. Like, they went to church when they were younger and just kind of grew out of it. Can we learn to talk to those people and stop using churchy insider language? I know I'm not saying anything new. Nothing in this video is new. But I just wanted to lend my voice to this stream of thought and just tell you guys where I'm at. I'm burned out. I'm burned out carrying Christendom the way things used to be, 1950s Christianity. I'm burned out of carrying that into the 21st century. It is exhausting. It's just increasingly diminishing returns for that kind of Christianity. And I'm tired of kind of being saddled with it. And I just want to wipe a lot of it out and just say, let's gather in a room, let's start over. Let's just start over. Tell me about your neighbors. What are they like? What do they love? Tell me about some young people in your life. What do you know about them? And just kind of start from there. Start from there. I don't know. Just some random thoughts. Pastor's Vlog out.